Alright, here's example 8, modeling trig functions. I've got 8 examples. Each example has its own video. Examples 1 and 2, just a regular sine, cosine function. Examples 3 and 4, regular sine, cosine function, but they're reflected about the x-axis. Examples 5 and 6, they have a horizontal shift. Examples 7 and 8, this one, they have a horizontal and a vertical shift. And actually number 7 has a horizontal and vertical, and it's reflected about the x-axis, so you might want to check that one out. Tried to hit everything that you would come across. Alright, so let's take a look at this one. Well, as we can see, this is the sine function. Okay, the sine function. So we know that it's going to be of this form. F of x is equal to a sine bx plus c plus d. Okay. All right, so a, that's the amplitude, c is the horizontal shift, d is the vertical shift, and b we use to calculate the period. Okay. All right, so with this one, let's go ahead and find d first. Okay, so you remember that a normal sine function looks like this. Okay, this goes through the middle of the graph, and what happens is this graph in this case is shifted up so many units. Okay, so that means, if it's shifted up, that means this middle part, it shifts also. Okay, so that's what we need to find, is this line here. How much has it shifted up? All right, so I mean, obviously we can see that it's 3. Okay, but let's go through the calculation. Let's write it out so you can see how to get it. So the vertical shift, d, so it's just the largest value plus the smallest value, which is 0. The largest value is 6. So you add them together, and we're looking for the midpoint of those two. So you divide them by 2. So that gives you 6 over 2, which is 3. So we get d is equal to 3. All right. So now you can see there's the middle of it. Okay. So now I need to get my amplitude. I need a. So a, well, we can see in this graph that it goes up 1, 2, 3 units, and it goes down 1, 2, 3 units. It goes up 3 to the max and down 3 to the minimum. So that tells me that a is equal to 3. Okay. Now we need to figure out b and c. Okay. Well, let's look at b. We know that the period is equal to 2 pi over b. So what we need is we need the length of the period. Okay, let's get the length of the period. Well, that's the distance from this pi over 4 to this 5 pi over 4. That's the length of the period. Well, how do we find that length? Well, the length of the period is the largest value, 5 pi over 4, minus the smallest value, pi over 4, which that's 4 pi over 4, which equals pi. Now if we replace period with pi, that gives us pi is equal to 2 pi over b. And cross multiplying, we solve for b, so that's going to give us pi times b is equal to 2 pi. Divide everything by pi, we get b equals 2. So there's b. Let me write that here. b equals 2. All right, so that takes care of b. Okay. Now what we need to do, and I'm going to erase this so I can work it here, is we need to find C. And to find C, we use the phase shift. All right, so the phase shift, we can see it's shifted to the right pi over 4. So the phase shift is pi over 4. Well, do we remember the formula for the phase shift? Well, the phase shift is equal to negative C over B. Okay, and that's the formula. So if we know the phase shift, the formula is negative C over B, well, the phase shift is pi over 4. So we take the pi over 4 and set it equal to negative C over B, to negative C over B, and B is what? 2. So if we multiply this by negative 2, okay, that's going to cancel the 2 out, make this a positive in front of the C. We know C is equal to negative pi over 2. So there's C. So we have everything. We've got A, D, B, and C. So we just plug everything in. So I get f of x is equal to A, which is 3, times sine of bx, well, b is 2, okay, plus c, which is negative pi over 2, plus d, and d is 3. So if I write this, f of x is equal to 3 sine 2x minus pi over 2 plus 3. And there's your answer. And I will say this, with the vertical shift, sometimes you might see it written like this, 3 plus 3 sine 2x minus pi over 2. And that's fine too. Either way is going to work. You can write this 3 behind everything, or you can write it in front. Alright, so hopefully this helped. Watch the other videos. And I've got other videos up. Check those out and give me a like, subscribe, and share. And thanks for watching.